Hello, everybody, and welcome to the pod. If this is your first time here, can I just give a big warm welcome? Hi, so happy to have you. My name is Nikki. I am currently living in Australia, getting a master's of sexology, and I am a proud member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I mention that today because I have on a very special guest. I was able to interview Lauren Yarro, who is the host of the podcast, The Blonde Apologist, which is personally a podcast that I listen to. I don't listen to a lot, but I listen to about 3 or 4 podcasts very consistently, and hers is one of them. Okay, I love the fact that it is pro LDS, because that's what I am, but it also tackles a lot of the taboo. I love, just hearing her thoughts and opinions and things because they align a lot with my view and how I look at the gospel. I mean, you don't have to look very far to see that I'm not as super mainstream as maybe some other people that come out of Utah. I have lived all over the world and study sex education as an unmarried single woman. So, I mean, I love her podcast. I love that I feel like I have been able to find a group and a community through her words, her episodes. So, if you like this podcast, you will probably love hers. And if you are coming over from Lauren's, oh my gosh, I am honored to have you. Hello. Just so you know how things run here, in every episode, I love talking about what people are watching, what they're reading. I am a huge TV, book, movie addict. Okay, addict spelled in all caps, bolded. I am seriously obsessed. I am not a casual watcher. I'm locked in for hours on end. I binge everything. And I have every single streaming platform. That's not a lie or an exaggeration. And then on top of that, I love hearing what opinions people have about just the world around them. I am such a passionate person, so I love hearing the passion come from others as well. So at the end, after we discuss all of the incredible things about Lauren and her podcast, we're going to end everything on the hills we'll die on, which is personally my favorite segment. I love hearing people's personal opinions and like their pet peeves and the things that they love. It brings me joy. It fills my cup, So all of that being said, I am more than delighted to welcome you to the pod, and especially to welcome Lauren, who I am a huge, huge fan of. I am so grateful that she was willing to do a Zoom meeting pretty late at night because the time difference is insane between Utah and Australia. She is so amazing, so kind, and I hope you enjoy what we have to say. Let's get to my intro song because this is Life According to Nikki.
Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that.
Lauren, thank you so much for coming on the pod today. I am absolutely delighted to have you. Why don't you tell my listeners a little bit about yourself and your podcast that I personally am obsessed with?
Okay, you're so nice. Hi, yeah, I'm Lauren. Nikki knows me through my podcast. I have a podcast called Blonde Apologist, and it's a pro LDS podcast where I just talk about the truth in all sorts of aspects because it affects every aspect of my life. And we often talk about the difference between culture and doctrine. And I kind of got into that because I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I grew up in Oklahoma, in America. In Oklahoma, everyone is Christian, but not very many people are Mormons. And so from a young age, I was always standing up for my faith. And I think I just felt the need to stand up for my faith on social media and in the podcast world. And so that's why I started my podcast. I currently live in Utah. I'm married with 2 children, and we live in Provo, and I went to BYU and studied digital marketing. And now I'm using that to have a podcast.
That was a beautiful bio. And today we're going to get to just all my thoughts. I'm just going to pick your brain about how you came up with your podcast idea and the name behind it, the topics you've covered. We're going to get to all of that. But first, something you got to know about my podcast is I love hearing what people are watching, what they're reading, what they hate, what they love. Everything's on the table. I just love hearing about people's media consumption. So, to start off, can you tell us about any recent watches or reads that you have?
So I'm currently reading the third book in the Fourth Wing series.
What are your
If
thoughts
anyone's
on
familiar with
that?
that. Wait, what part about it? The series, or what do I think about
But
fantasy, or what?
what do you think about this particular series? Because, okay, I'll warn you right now, I have not read them because I don't like reading
Uh-huh.
books, series that are unfinished because I'm a binger.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I have friends, many friends that are obsessed. Their assessment was the first two were like so good, so amazing, and they were really confused by this third one. They
Okay, that
felt
makes me
like,
scared. I'm
wait,
not
you're
done
saying
yet.
Fourth Wing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, but I'm not done yet. That's what I'm reading right now. Sorry.
Okay. Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm reading it right now. I'm probably only a quarter of the way through. So I am
Okay.
curious what my overall review is. I've heard good and bad from both people. So I don't think your friends are off. I think some people
Yeah.
don't love it, but I have a friend who liked it more than the second one. So far I'm loving it. I wish I had more time to read. I feel like I've been so spread thin lately that I haven't been reading. It's taking me a while to get through it, which I'm embarrassed by because I like to usually speed read and just binge and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I would recommend it to anyone.
So far, so good.
So far, so
And
good.
love it. Okay, you recently read a book that you did an entire episode on. Tell us about.
Yes. Her name's Shari Franke. She wrote the book, The House of My Mother, and that is her story and her experience growing up with her mom, Ruby Franke, who was a big YouTuber. They had a family vlog where they had over 2 million followers, and she would vlog just their family's life all the time. And that was hard for her children. So she talks a lot about what that experience was like being exposed to just the influencer world as a child. But then she also goes into like what led up to the arrest of her mother, because her mother was arrested for child abuse in, I want to say, just 2 years ago, and or maybe it was 2021. And she's currently like in custody for pretty crazy charges. So she also talks about like just what it was like having that mother and why she thinks her mom went down that path. Super fascinating. Recommend for literally everyone. I think it was just so well written and very compelling, very tragic, but also just like you just look at it and I don't know, it just makes you think of like, okay, how can I be better? Because it feels like Ruby Franke, her mom, started making poor choices, but then just like really lost control of her life. And I don't think that would ever happen to me, but it's still so fascinating to read and think about. So
I
highly recommend both of those books.
Okay, I was surprised because I haven't read it yet, but I listened to your entire
Mm-hmm.
episode on it. I was surprised to hear that it was like so faith-filled as well, because I feel like my that was my incorrect assumption is that it was going to be this deeply sad story, seeing like my values and stuff distorted. I don't know how she like grew up with that, because I love those types of books, seeing, what can
Right.
happen when you
Kind of
take
like
these beliefs.
Educated. Did you read
Exactly.
Educated? Yeah, very similar. Not as extreme,
Yeah,
but here's the thing,
exactly.
Shari, the author of this book, is an active member. Like you can tell, like whereas the girl of Educated, I don't think she's a member anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but Shari is. However, I would say like it's so well written that anyone could read it. Like you don't have to be a member of our faith to be interested in it. I think it's
Mhm.
harder for someone of my faith to read it because it's like, dang, that sucks. Like you said, like seeing that distortion of my beliefs and like used against children is really sad.
Yeah.
But I know it's out there and I know
Mhm.
people are doing it. And so it wasn't like super surprising, even though it's tragic. But Shari really does do a good job because you can tell that because of her faith, like she was supported through it. Like she really did have a relationship with God and she believed in Jesus, and like through her covenants, like she found peace in a world of chaos. So even though it was tragic, like she still had that blessing.
I
But
love
again, I
that.
don't think you have to be a member of our faith to like take that away. I think it was written
Oh, yeah.
perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. It made me want to read it even more because I think, as you said, when you read books like that, it makes you want to be better. And I think it's important. I think it's very, very important for anybody, but especially members of our faith, to read books like that where those, our beliefs are distorted and taken and used in very wrong ways against children, especially. I think that's an important thing that
Mm-hmm.
we need to recognize and like see to make sure that we're recognizing it in our own communities and helping
Totally.
not just ignoring that it's a problem and being like, oh, not in my neighborhood.
Yes. And Shari
Yeah.
did. She had supporters. And I didn't talk about
I
this in my
love that.
podcast, but she did. She had like members in her community who saw issues and were really there to help her. And she had bishops that really stepped up and helped her at times. And so yeah, it is cool.
All right, so those two books. Anything else? Any watches?
I'm not watching any shows right now. We just finished Shrinking and I loved that. It was on Apple TV. Season 2 just finished up and I haven't started anything new since then, but if you haven't watched Shrinking, I recommend that. Have you seen Shrinking?
I have not. My brother just recommended it last week to me, though. He told me the same thing. He was like, you have to watch
It's so
the show.
good. Yeah, they just take like really heavy and hard challenges in our lives. Like all the characters are going through something pretty heavy and pretty hard, and they make it like lighthearted. They like kind of show you how to cope and work through hard things in a funny, engaging way. And it just feels so good. And season 2 is better than season 1, and that rarely happens, you know? I was not disappointed with season 2.
You just convinced me right then and there. If you're telling me that the second season is better, I'm automatically in. I just watched Night Agent season 2. Have you seen Night Agent on Netflix?
Is it good?
That one, second season was better. And I was like, oh, I love it when they do that. I love it when they can top themselves because I think it is hard, especially once hype is built. I'm just disappointed so often, but not this time.
Yeah.
Season 2 was not only equally as great, but that one's it's such a quick binge. It's so good. Like a cop FBI type of show. I watched this last night and I need to talk to somebody about it. So I'm hoping you've seen it. Have you seen Love Actually?
Yes. You just watched it?
I just watched it for the first time and I'm so sorry. I hated it.
Wait, Love Actually with Steve Carell? No.
No. This one has huge names. It has like Severus Snape, Nanny McPhee.
Oh, okay, wait.
Who else does it have? It's got the Hobbit guy, Sherlock.
I don't know if I've seen it. I've seen the Valentine, like the
yes.
New Year's. Is it New Year's?
New Year's Eve and Valentine's Day. Those two.
Yes.
With all the celebrities.
Yes. I feel like sometimes those movies that has so many famous people in it, like they're just not good. Like it's just the story doesn't make sense.
Exactly. But my biggest qualm, if you ever do watch it, here was my personal issue, so it was made in 2003. It's a bunch of separate stories that like in the end kind of sort of connect, but not really. But you're being just tossed around plot to plot to plot. And in every single plot, you have a woman who you know nothing about other than she's really pretty. And then you have a guy that's hopelessly in love with her. And there's just like no substance.
Every single story was that?
Every single story. It really, I was like, I'm too much of a feminist to watch this movie. Like, this is really upsetting me.
Too good.
Because there was just zero substance to any of these women. There was nothing beyond the fact that they were pretty. And that really made me upset. But anyways.
I hate this.
Sorry to all the people. I
wish I had seen it. That is so funny.
I felt really bad when it was done. I was like, I am gonna have so many people coming at me for this.
When you said Love Actually, I was thinking you were talking about Crazy Stupid Love. Have you seen that one?
That one I like. That one's fun. What'd you think?
No, love it. That's what I thought you were talking about. Like that's a classic for me. When you said Love Actually, I thought we were talking about Crazy Stupid Love for a second.
Based on your podcast, I think you wouldn't like Love Actually.
Yeah.
I think you would have the same issues I do. All right. Anything else before we move on to our core of the episode?
Did you like Wicked? I'm still kind of just like living in my Wicked phase.
Loved. And I'd never seen it. I'd seen the Broadway play when I was really young, so I didn't remember any of the plot.
Yeah.
I was like almost in tears at the end. It was so good.
No, same. Yeah, so we just keep like replaying those songs. It's the last movie I saw in the theaters.
Absolutely brilliant. The only things I've just rewatched a lot of things this week because I'm with a new group of people. So we're just rewatching. I rewatched Jury Duty. Have you seen Jury Duty?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, girl, the conversation that I had to have with everyone about soaking oh
my gosh. So you're not with people who are members at all?
No, never heard of my church.
Yeah. That is so funny.
Yeah, soaking comes up And anyways, in that show, because he's based off of a member of our church, that character, um,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, it created quite the conversation. And they were like, this is a real thing. And I was like, yes, but no, like I don't think that this
I
is
honestly, I don't know. I'm not convinced it's a real thing. I really like I do not know one person. I went to BYU. If you listen to, I had a BYU bishop on, and I literally asked him, I'm like, has anyone confessed soaking to you? And he's like, no. He's like,
I,
that was not a thing.
I feel like I believe
So
it from my parents' generation. I think I'd believe that for sure. But my current stance on it is until someone looks me in my eyes and tells me straight to my face, I did that, I won't believe that it's actually
yeah,
true.
because I'm sorry, like we're smarter than that. Because the purpose for soaking would be like a loophole through the law of chastity, like a loophole around we're not going to get in trouble. No one's that dumb. No one, I'm sorry, like that is like so stupid. You didn't get into BYU if you think that.
That is
That's my take.
actually, yes. Because, yeah, I was trying to explain. They were like, would they do it? Or that they do it to avoid sex. And I was like, no, we still believe that that's wrong. We still believe,
Yeah,
like, that's the
no,
whole point.
exactly.
It's so dumb.
That's the same thing. At that point, just have sex. Like I'm telling you now.
I say that every time. Anyways, yeah, that's what I've been watching. So thank you so much for catching me up on your media consumption. Now, moving on to you and your amazing, incredible podcast. First off, let's start with the name Blonde Apologist. Tell us where that came from.
It is nothing exciting or inspiring. Honestly, I was just brainstorming ideas. Apologist was a term that I was like, okay, I can kind of get behind that because I kind of feel like that's what I am. Like I am defending something that is controversial and I am willing to be unapologetic in doing so when it comes to my faith.
Yeah.
And so I liked apologist. And so then I said blonde apologist to my husband one night. And I'm like, it feels casual. It feels fun. It feels like it identifies me a little bit. And I just didn't think about it. And then I kept trying to brainstorm more. And anytime I brainstormed something that was an obvious connection to the church, it felt too serious. And I don't want to be taken serious. Like, not that I am a joke, but that I don't think I should be speaking for the church or that I should speak in their behalf or take people as if like I am a spokesperson for the church. And so that's why I kind of like stepped away from any name that was the church, like obviously pointed to it, and just stuck with apologist.
I love that. You're showing that, hey, I'm just a member. This is my viewpoint and this is how
Yes,
I
it's
live my
literally
faith.
me. Like it identifies me. Like I'm blonde. This is me. I'm an apologist, and take it or leave it.
So you did not start with just the podcast because you've mentioned multiple times that on TikTok you've done things. Now, I have not been on TikTok for like almost 2 years now. So I didn't know any of this. So kind of tell me where your start began in, okay, I'm going to start posting things in defense of the church.
Yeah, so it started, like I said, I went to school for digital marketing and I was working in marketing and had to be on TikTok a lot, obviously, because was making content for brands that I worked for. As I was on TikTok, I was like, wow, my church is bleeding out on TikTok. Like it is getting destroyed left and right on TikTok. And I just didn't know that was happening. Like on Instagram, I wasn't seeing it the way that I was seeing it on TikTok. So then I just decided one day, I'm like, I'm going to just tell people that I love being a member of the church. And like, that was my first video. I'm like, hi, I just want you to know that if you feel alone because you've scrolled this app and you think that everyone has left the church and hates the church, I love being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. Like it means so much to me. And that was just my first video. And I was like, I just hope that if you're out there and you see this, like, you know that you're not alone, because that's what it felt like when I was on TikTok. And so then that just created a wave. Like people started following me and I started seeing things that I just wanted to respond to. I didn't like totally come out. There were a couple of times where like someone would post anti and I would just stitch their video and be like, here's my perspective. But it was mostly just like, this is what my beliefs look like in my life. And this is why it's important to me. I gained a following, and I think like the natural thing to do when you have a following is to kind of become an influencer.
Yeah.
And I actually am like so uninterested in that. And I hate that. Even when brands would reach out to me, brands that I love that I like would normally order from, I would get so excited, but then I was like, actually, I don't want to do this. And I hated that side of things. And so I started kind of pulling away from TikTok because of that. I'm like, there's nothing for me to do here except for like start doing like brand deals and collabs and like become an influencer in the space. And I don't want to do that. Like I want to actually just have more meaningful conversations, but TikTok wasn't the space to like have deeper conversations. Like it's for short gratification and clicks, you know? So that's where the idea for the podcast came. I'm like, I can talk more and they can be longer and we can build a community. And that's what's the best thing about the podcast is because before, when I was sharing my beliefs on TikTok, the worst people were always seeing my videos. Like, yes, I would reach good audience, but I would also have the audience of like the worst people, like so rude, so like degrading of my faith. And I had to deal with that. But now that I have the podcast, like no one's going to hate listen for an hour. Like, I mean, sometimes they do. And I do get those messages. Like there are a few and I know their names because they're crazy. But for the most part, like if you're going to listen to an hour of my episode, it's because you don't hate the church for whatever reason. You want to learn more or like you want to hear this discussion. Yeah. And so I just am glad that I switched over to the podcast.
That is such a great story. I was going to ask you about comments. So can we pause on this for a quick second? How did you, and still now, do you deal with so much negativity coming towards you when you're just sharing your faith? You're just sharing what brings you joy. And yet that seems to get people so up in arms about telling you that you're wrong and telling you that you're bad and attacking your character as a person and God and Jesus. Like, how do you deal with that?
Kind of like what I mentioned in my introduction to myself. I grew up in Oklahoma and I was seriously defending my faith from a very young age. Like to just like give an example, like I was a freshman in high school and I had written on a paper that my goal was to get into Brigham Young University. And I had a teacher come up to me and he saw that this was like my school goal. And he's like, why would you want to go to that Mormon school? And I'm like, oh, I'm Mormon. And he's like, but you're one of my best students. Like he could not fathom that I was Mormon. And then I'm like, oh yeah. And like I pointed out to who else was Mormon because we were the best students. And the next day he came to school with his Bible. And he pulled me aside after class and he wanted to read to me why God and Jesus are one and how I don't follow Christ because I believe they're two separate beings. And like that happened to me as a freshman in high school. And like I had adults and I had that kind of like criticism and attacks on my belief all the time. So I feel like I learned from a young age, like what I really believe. Why am I willing to stand up for these things? Are they important enough for me to be criticized and marginalized for? Because in a lot of ways I was, just because I live in Oklahoma and the Bible Belt of America, for whatever reason, Baptists like preach against Mormons. Like they like are so against us. Like I even had one of my best friends tell me my senior year of high school, she's like, I'm just so sad that you're going to go to hell. Like it breaks my heart because you're such a good person. And I'm just like, okay. Like, and this is someone I love and I'm still really close with, but like, this is just what they're taught. And so anyways, I give that backstory just so you know, like I was raised this way. And so it really just like, I don't care anymore. The comments that get to me, like the antis, the Christians that tell me I'm not Christian, like all those, like, I really don't care. You can tell me whatever you want or why you hate my faith. The comments that get to me are the people who listen to my podcast who are in our faith and don't like the way that I'm practicing my faith. Like those are the people that get under my skin. Listeners that are like, hey, I love your podcast, but you said this and I do not agree. And I'm like, that's totally fine. Like, I hope we don't agree on everything. But like, if you're going to be critical and judge me and make assumptions about me because of like one thing I said, like, that's where I'm like, oh, I hate that. Showing you like what I am insecure about is that.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's one thing to hear it from a stranger and someone that like clearly has set themselves apart being like, I do not believe what you believe. It's like, okay, yeah, it's easier to be like, yeah, we stand on different sides of the field. But like, yeah, when you're supposed to be on the same team and they're telling you that, you know, you're running the play wrong.
Yes.
But you're like,
and like
you're wearing the uniform incorrectly.
Yeah. Sometimes I can like be like, okay, this is just like a Karen comment. But like sometimes it does get to me, and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know if it's just because it depends on my mental state that day, but for the most part, I think it just comes in. This is what I really believe, and I feel so validated in the way that I live my life and the way that I teach these things, because I believe that Christ has taught me these things. Like they have come because of my relationship with Him. So that gives me confidence that's up here because it
Yeah.
is in Him. Like seriously, my confidence is really high. And I don't mean that to be boastful.
Yeah.
I just mean like He gives me credibility. And so if you're going to attack the way I see it, well, I'm just going to turn around. I'm going to get on my knees and I'm going to ask Him how He feels about me doing this, or how He feels about how I said that. And that's all I need.
Oh,
You
that
know?
is so beautiful. Wow. Oh, I loved that. Oh my gosh. Okay, this reminded me. I read a book this week and I forgot to mention it, which I have to because it was life-changing. Have you ever listened to or read anything by Melissa Way Sing? I'm going to say her name incorrectly. Ione? Inouye. She's a church, well, she's passed away.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, she passed away. I heard her on Follow Him.
yes.
She was
Oh,
on a podcast that I listened to, and
oh my.
she knows a lot about, yeah, no, she was amazing on that episode, but I haven't read any of her books. What do I need to read?
Oh my gosh, girl. I am telling you, like, I was changed this week by this book. It's called Sacred Struggle. She talks about this moment where because she's a very smart woman. I mean, she's got her PhD, she's this historian. She's known not only within the church, but academically, just like in the world. And she's been all over the world. And, anyways, she went to this meeting about education of racial issues, and she being I think it was Japanese American, she was like, oh, I'm gonna go, and she disagreed very profoundly with what was being taught, and it was being taught by a member of the church, and she has
Mm,
this moment. Oh, I was like tearing. The whole book was just making me cry. It was so beautiful. But she has this moment where she goes up to this woman afterwards, and the woman and her just kind of have this brief discussion of, she was like, how can we think so differently, yet we're in the same church, and you're telling
yeah,
me that I'm wrong. And she has this moment where she's crying because she's so upset, and this woman hugs her, and it was so beautiful. And she talks about how with Christ we can have those moments where you can think differently and you can disagree even within your own belief system, but ultimately what Christ teaches us is that we can still have a relationship with each other. We can still hold each other and like be there
yeah,
for each other. And she was connected to this woman through this sisterhood in Christ. And she loved this woman, and this woman was showing her love and her compassion towards her, even though they thought differently and had very different views on how things should be done. Or, anyways,
mm-hmm,
it taught me so much about, wow, how often am I just like, oh, I don't agree with the way that you said it, so I'm going to go over here to my group of people within my church that do agree, when I'm
yeah,
missing such a great opportunity to connect with my brothers and sisters that even within my own faith, they
yeah,
tend to think differently. And she said, she was like, well, Christ teaches us to love our enemies, and what better place to find enemies than a church? She says it much more eloquently, but basically, like, yeah, you're going to be offended and there's going to be things that you don't agree with, but
yes, yes.
I just think it's beautiful that you hold space for that. Oh, that's so great.
I think what we can do as members is, when just because we hear someone's opinion or someone's application of something, I just think we need to not make assumptions further from that. And I think that sometimes when we like get so offended or get upset is because we assume more things that are negative. And I'm totally guilty of this. Like I am in a ward that has a lot of older women, and I love them. We are so close and we are so connected. But every single time someone tells me like, Lauren, I've been listening to your podcast, I like hold my breath because I'm like, are you going to like it or are you going to hate it? And I think I'm assuming that they're judgmental. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
they're critical. And I'm like, I just need to assume the best of people. Just don't make assumptions. Just because someone does one thing, don't assume you know why they're doing that thing. Don't assume you know the intention behind them doing that thing, because that's where it gets worse for no reason.
Oh,
Because I
and
don't think
isn't it?
anyone's assumption is to go away from Christ or to go away from the gospel or the doctrine.
Right. Oh, I think I find so much comfort in that scripture where I think it's Doctrine and Covenants. I think it might have been this week actually, the reading where it said, I know the thoughts and intents of thy heart in, I think it was D&C 6. And I was like, oh, thank goodness that my heavenly parents and Jesus Christ know the intents of my heart, because when things go wrong and when the things I say or the way I do something is taken in a negative way that was unintended,
Yes.
and someone else is
Yes.
offended by what I've done or disagrees with the way that I live the gospel, that exactly what you said, I can turn and get on my knees and say, Lord, you know my heart. Like you know what I was
Yes.
trying to do. Help me to do it a little bit better this time.
Totally. No, you're spot on. I love that.
You talk about the prep that you have to have for your episodes because you're having a Word of Wisdom episode coming up soon, or at least you teased it. And you were saying that, you need more time to prep. So kind of take us through, what do you do to not only prep as far as like researching, maybe the history of a topic, but spiritually? You mentioned that you have to spiritually prepare to discuss things. So just give us a little insight on what your process is.
Every episode is so different. That's what's hard. It's like sometimes an idea for an episode hits me and I'm ready to record it the next day. Some, like the Word of Wisdom, for example, like I know I have my thoughts, I have my opinions, I have the way I practice and the way I believe it to be lived. But I know that that's so different for so many people. I know this is a sensitive one. So I've been studying it. I've been trying to understand the why behind the Word of Wisdom. And so my process with some of these topics, a lot of it comes down to like me trying to get to the why. And sometimes that why is like, why is a commandment from God? Sometimes the why is this uncomfortable for people? Or why do some people do it this way? Why has this offended and made people leave the church before? There's so many whys that I feel like I have to get to the bottom of. And inspiration for my episode can only come through knowledge. And so I do feel like I do need to study some of these topics out more.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, there are some topics that I'm so confident in that I could give a TED talk at any given time. And then there's other ones that I'm like, oh, I do not know how to address that one. And the Word of Wisdom is one of those where I'm like, okay. And I mentioned in that episode that like I had a discussion with a family member over Christmas and it just went so south so fast. And I was like, okay, like this reminds me that these topics are sensitive. And sometimes I worry that people take my voice and like they take it and now it becomes their belief. And I said this in this week's episode. I'm like, I want people to study these out too. Like, I want you to get down to the reason of the why for the Word of Wisdom. I want you to study it out and not just be like, well, Lauren said this, so I'm going to go get a double piercing because Lauren's comfortable getting a double piercing. I'm like, no, that took revelation. That took me studying to get to where I am. And I want that for everyone. So yeah, I don't even know if I answered your question because the preparation is so different for every episode.
No, that absolutely did. I agree, where it's like, okay, don't just take my word for it. Like, this was my experience I'm sharing with you, but ultimately, girl, you gotta go figure that out on your own. Like, that's between you and
that's
yeah.
And like we were just talking about, like that's where your confidence comes. That's where you feel validated. And if you don't get down to the whys and you don't seek the revelation and get the answers for yourself, you're just going to be so easily swayed by what other people are doing. And you're going to be like, oh, okay, Lauren's doing this. Great. Okay, Nikki's doing this. I'll do it like this, And so either you can be really quickly start doing what they're doing, or you could be really judgmental quickly. And I think when you focus on like, okay, why did God and I like come to this conclusion? Why is this the way I'm doing it? I think you stop caring what other people are doing it, even if it looks different.
Oh my gosh, yes. I have so many things to say on that. I will save it for another time because we're running low on time, but I'm like, girl, yes, the amount of things.
No, you're good.
Okay, I'll just tell you this. So I have taught a dirty dancing class for a year and a half back home in Utah.
It was so fun.
And so fun. So fun. Literally, I'm like, this will ruffle feathers. I probably will edit this out. But what truly got me to do that was I felt so genuinely inspired. I was like, I know that this goes against everything that everyone has taught me growing up. But I was like, no, I feel inspired that like I should do this. I am telling you right now, some of the best missionary experiences that I had in the last 2 years were in that class. Yeah, there's no limits on like what can.
No, and that's the point, is like God was telling you to do it. And so then you went and did it, even though maybe logically it didn't make sense.
Yeah,
But
from
that's
the
like what
from a
this
cultural
whole purpose
perspective,
of life is.
right?
Totally,
From a
totally.
cultural perspective, it was like, what? No. Anyways,
Yeah.
I could go on forever. But the last question that I want to ask for this, and then we'll get to the hills we'll die on, because I really want to know yours.
Yes.
But I wanted to know genuinely, as a podcaster who's like, okay, you know what? I think I might take this more seriously. Because before it was like, oh, this is just this fun hobby that I'm doing. And now I'm like, no, I actually want to make this into something. What is your advice? Because you, in like 6 months, have gotten 14,000 followers. I've been so impressed with probably your background in BYU. The marketing thing helped, because I hate doing the social media part.
I hate it too.
It's the worst. It's so much work. So, anyways, I just want to know, how'd you do it? And what's your advice? I need a big sister advice right now.
My advice is to make content. Like, unfortunately, it comes down to making content. And you know what's funny is I have 14,000 followers. Those first 12,000 I got in the first 3 months of my podcast because I was consistent and I was posting. Go back. That is when my content was good. Go back to the beginning of you don't have to go very far because I'm not old.
Yeah.
That's when I was making good content, where I was taking trends and I was applying them to each week's episode. Then I had surgery and literally have not given any attention to social media since. And I've maybe gotten another 2,000, like little ones, because I'm not dedicating content to it. And so, yes, unfortunately, if you want to grow your podcast, for anyone listening, you have to market it. And that's on social media. And if you want to be good at it, my tip is like, just look at the trends. Look at the trends that everyone's doing, and then just switch the narrative. Switch it to make it applicable to your niche and your topics. That's the only advice.
It's like the advice I don't want to hear, because I know, but
and literally I know it. I know it. I went to school for this. I did this for a career before I had children. And now I'm like, I don't want to do it. Like, I hate it. It's like, literally, I write in my journal. Like, I was really writing in my journal the other way. I'm like, the only thing that causes me stress is trying to think of content ideas and then creating that content. And
it's soul
I'm
sucking.
struggling with it too. So we got it. We can do it. Okay. It's worth it. It's how people find you. It really is. Right. And that's what I've been telling myself lately. I'm like, if I want more people to be able to hear these things, then I'm going to need to be consistent. I'm going to need to be posting small and simple things. Like, just start small and you get better as you go. Like, my Instagram, yes, I started my Instagram 6 months ago, but I started my TikTok 2 years ago. So I've had a lot of practice, and it's not like my TikToks were great in the beginning. I had a lot of time to refine and get better at it. And so when I started my Instagram, I feel like I at least knew what did well. I knew how to start strong. And now I need to just rededicate, because I've kind of just given up on it. And that's not good, because I'm not getting new listeners. You know what I mean? Like, right. I want more people to find these things, because I do think they're beautiful and I think they're important. Oh. So you can do it. We can both do it.
Okay, we can both do it. Oh, gosh. Okay, I'll do it.
It's hard.
I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. Okay, last thing. Do you have any hills that you will die on?
I had to think hard on these. I'm not kidding. I'm like, with my husband, I'm like, the church is true. Is that my hill that I could die on?
That's a great one.
Okay, the first one is church related. Since we've been talking about church, I'll just start with this one. I really think that fast and testimony meeting should have a 2-minute time limit. I think there should be a little light on the pulpit, and it should go off. It should go off at 2 minutes, and people know they need to sit down, because those are the best testimony meetings, when they're short and sweet.
I love that. I love cultural ones, like church culture ones, niche. Oh, yeah, love that.
I think probably think of it more in that niche, but then I was like, I should probably brainstorm outside of church stuff. I think that this is just a pet peeve of mine that my husband does, and so I don't know if it counts as a hill I die on. But when you answer the phone, you should hold it up to your ear. You should not put it on speaker and talk like this. People do that all the time in my life. I don't know if it's just my family's dynamic and my husband's like culture, but they all do it, and it drives me crazy.
So everyone's answering calls on speaker?
Yes.
Oh no, that's
Most
crazy.
people in my husband's family does that.
That is crazy. I don't want to be a part of your phone conversation. What?
Yeah, so maybe it's not a hot take because it's only my family, but we need to be done with that. If you are not putting your shopping cart away after using it, you're a bad person. Like, you're just bad.
Funny you say that. When people ask me like what's your type for dating, because I'm single, so I always have to talk about the fact that I'm single, or at least either myself brings it up or someone else will.
It comes up.
It comes up. And so then they're always like, what's your type? Blah blah blah. I will always say my type is a guy that would put the shopping cart away. That is my type.
No.
That tells me everything I need to know.
Bottom of the barrel. That is like, no. That is like, maybe you're a decent person. Like, that is like, no, we have higher standards than that. That is, in my head, if you're not doing that, like, I don't even want to be your friend, let alone date you. I don't even want to be your friend. I don't want to have a conversation with you if you can't bother
to put the cart away.
I
feel like it really, yeah, it says so much about a person. But you know what? You're right. I do have way too high of standards. Not too high. I just have high standards.
Okay, so this isn't an issue. Okay.
Yeah, no, I would never. Yeah, but when I'm just trying to like simplify, appease the people, what's your type? Because I don't want to get into the, what hair color, whatever. Because I'm like, I just honestly, just a good guy, honestly, would be great. And
I know.
But I totally agree. Shopping carts need to be put away.
Yeah. And the last one I wrote down, and I don't know the logistics of this, okay. So maybe someone smarter than me would be like, no, that's not like, that makes sense. But I think that when you see the price of something, it should include taxes.
Yes.
Like everywhere on the internet, like you should just have your settings set. I live in Utah. Give me the Utah tax, whatever, America, whatever. And then when you're at the grocery store, like show me the price of what it's going to cost with taxes.
I will take that one step further because the hill that I will die on is if you do not have your prices at all on your website for your products, I'm not going to purchase your product. You could have the best product in the world. That is actually criminal, and I want you locked up.
Yeah, what?
Why am I going on to see a restaurant's food menu and I'm not finding anywhere, literally anywhere, the pricing? Or a clothing boutique or something online? Why are your prices not on your website?
No, the hidden memberships. Where I'm like, they're like, join now. And it's like, write us an email or send your inquiry here. I'm like, I might not be interested. If I knew how much this would cost, then I would know.
I don't want a quote.
Yeah, that's true.
Tell me your price. Yeah, that one.
Because then I feel like they're just lying to you. I'm like, if I have to like reach out to you for a quote, like you're just like choosing whether you like me or not to give me like your good deal or your bad deal,
Yes. It feels dishonest. It feels very dishonest. And I don't like it. Thank you so much for coming on the pod today. This has been so great. I am such a big fan of yours. I will continue to listen to
so fun.
The Blonde Apologist forevermore. And everybody, all of the listeners, everyone go listen to The Blonde Apologist on Apple and Spotify.
Okay. And Amazon and kind of on YouTube, but not video, just audio. That's New Year's resolution is doing video at some point on YouTube. But
it's so
that takes money and I'm not there yet. This is a hobby still.
Same.
But no, thank you for letting me have on. This was so fun. And now I'm a fan of yours. So I'm excited to go listen to more of your episodes too.
Oh, thank you so much. Can I have you do my sign out?
Thanks for listening to our thoughts on life, because this has been Life According to Nikki.